Hi everyone, this is Akshat here, founder and CEO at Amper. Excited to be here with Paul. We've known each other for many years. Paul, can you give
Good
a quick
to be here. Yeah.
Can you give a quick introduction on yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I'm one of the co-founders of ProShop ERP. We offer ERP basically for machine shops. We used to own a shop ourselves, found that we couldn't find anything on the market that was worth purchasing, and decided to build something for ourselves. And it turned out that lots of other shops really liked what we were doing, so we eventually sold our shop and started ProShop.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal story, and I feel like of all the folks in this industry, no one is as grounded in the reality and the challenge of running a shop than Paul. So it's been quite a journey. I mean, you've seen so many shops go through the transformation of whether it's going from a legacy system or pen and paper. I mean, what has been kind of typically the motivation to upgrade systems?
I think it comes down to a few different basic ones. One is they just get incredibly frustrated with their old system. Paper cuts all day, every day, with a system that really isn't designed for a job shop. And then you have companies where they're feeling the pressure of client requirements, like they want them to get CMMC certified or they need to get AS9100 certified, and doing that on paper or doing it in a legacy system that just isn't designed for that is just an incredibly huge lift. And then, some that are just have been on paper and pen, and they realize even some with ERPs still are on lots of paper and pen, believe me.
Oh yeah, no, working with so many shops, it's not uncommon that you have a whiteboard, some paper, some Excel, and you somehow happen to have an ERP as well. I think that's definitely a huge opportunity. But any transformation in ERPs is kind of a change in the way of how people run the business. It's a cultural element. When folks thinking, am I ready to upgrade and take on this initiative? What are some of the pieces that they need to have as a foundation? Whether it's a mindset or culture, what do you think? When do you know people are ready to make the move?
Yeah, so I think there's a few key important things. Being really open to being humble about the way you do things today and what might be a better way to do that. We have clients that are very humble and they have the best success. We have clients that try to take the ERP and morph it into the way they have always run their business, when sometimes that is the actual problem itself, is how they have been running their business. So that's a pretty huge one. Getting alignment on the team is really important. Making sure the leadership is setting the vision of why they're doing this, getting everyone on board, because if you have detractors within the organization that are digging in their heels, it's going to be a much harder transition, especially if those people are in key positions. And then lastly, just getting everyone excited and inspiring them as to why this is such an important thing for the company.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. 2023, it's a unique time in the macroeconomy. You've seen a lot of challenges with higher interest rates. There are supply chain issues, but at the same time, some industries like aerospace are relatively booming. I guess, what are you seeing on the ground? You're speaking with manufacturers all day, so what is your perspective for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so I've seen, and actually I've written about this recently, the difference between what I'm calling the haves and have-nots. So I'm seeing a wider discrepancy in shops that are absolutely slammed, setting records every month, huge backlogs, and shops that are scraping the barrel to find work. And to me, it comes down to a few things. The shops that are being really sales-driven, really focused on sales and marketing, they are having success. The ones that are not, maybe the owner just has a local region of people that they support. That can be pretty tough. So that's a big one. Technology adoption, right?
Yeah.
You have those shops that are using paper-based processes, and to me, one of the biggest selling points of a system like Amper or a system like ProShop that is really leaning into pushing efficiencies, pushing performance, is that clients want to see that. They want to see and know that their vendors are going to reduce the risk of working with them because they're pushing that edge of technology and performance. Shops that are still relying on old-fashioned processes are more risky, and clients don't want to put work into a risky shop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so many moving components when it comes to upgrading the tech stack to run a shop floor. I imagine ERPs are kind of the foundational pieces. What are some best practice when it comes to what kinds of technologies folks should be looking at? There's so much out there. We're at PMTS and there's 100 different technology businesses. how would you kind of describe like maybe the top couple of technologies machine shop owners should be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, we of course ERP has got to. It really is the spine, the backbone of the whole company.
Absolutely.
Which makes ripping it out and putting in a new one very hard. But yeah, it all stems from that. Obviously, machine monitoring is a huge aspect of it. And you know this better than I do even. When people see the numbers of how little their machines are actually running, they usually can't believe how low it is, right? So that's huge. If you want to get more throughput, more efficiency, more spindle time, you got to know what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. We're of course huge proponents of browser-based ERP, getting stuff off your network, getting stuff up into the cloud, GovCloud, making sure it's secure. Most people, or lots of shops, think things are more secure in their shop. I guarantee you that's not true anymore. Things are more secure in the cloud. So that's a big one. You can really minimize the cost of upgrades, of managing servers by moving stuff to the cloud. It's a huge one.
So we're obviously generally in the space of machine connectivity, tracking shop floors in real time. What have you seen in the challenges that folks have that prompts them to explore this category? Like, what is the challenge when you don't have a system with real-time tracking?
I mean, perfect example. A customer told me recently, they used to, if they would have a customer ask for a status update on a large PO, it might take them 2 or 3 days of running around the shop, looking for paper travelers, finding things, writing it down on paper, putting it into a spreadsheet, and getting back to that customer. Whereas when ProShop, they can pull up the work order, pull up the customer PO, and see live status in about 5 or 10 minutes, right? So a customer does not want to wait 3 days to get status, right?
Yeah.
It is the demands, the ever-increasing demands of machining and running a machine shop that is driving these things. I mean, it was hard back in the day when I did it. I ran my shop from 97 to 2014. I'd say it's twice as hard today. So
Why is it so much harder today?
Just the expectations of clients just get better, get higher and higher and higher, right? I mean, you look at something like a football player from the 50s would be a puny little person compared to a football player in today's. Like, everything just amps up. Business does, everything does, and it's just, cybersecurity was not a thing back when I was running my shop. ITAR was sort of barely a thing. The requirements are just getting more and more stringent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Paul, it's been such a great journey, kind of building our companies alongside each other. We've been to so many trade shows together, so it's awesome to kind of be here. Any final thoughts or questions as we kind of wrap up?
Yeah, I guess just sort of taking it bigger picture. There are really good macroeconomic trends for manufacturing precision machining in North America, and it is incumbent on all the small mom and pop shops out there, and I'm talking to you if you're watching, to step up your game, get off of paper, get out of your comfort zone, and raise to the challenge of what our economy and our countries need. Because if these shops don't step up, the opportunities will go elsewhere. So it's really important.
Absolutely. Do check out ProShop. It's an amazing product. Everyone should take a look at it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.